Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another lovely day in the Ozarks. I just love this time of the year when it starts to do this nice cool down, not too hot, not too warm, enjoyable at night. You can sleep with the windows up and it's just very pleasant. But things in the world are getting crazy. And they've been getting crazy for a while, and I personally believe we're just watching a collapse of our whole society. It's civilization level collapse is what I believe is going on. That doesn't mean it's all just going to be burned to the ruins, but it could be. And it doesn't mean that it's all happening tomorrow either. But I think that we're seeing a very steady progression towards that demise. Before I get started, I want to mention, if you are looking for excellent coffee, mooseruncoffee.com. There's some good friends of ours. This isn't an affiliate or anything like that. It's just I like to promote good stuff, and it's from a fellow whole Bible believer and prepper, part of our group, mooseruncoffee.com. Really good stuff. It's small batch roasted. They roast it themselves. It's organic, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so excuse me. And the last couple of days, it was a Jewish man in California that was killed by a pro-Palestinian protester. Apparently, there was a scuffle, somehow knocked the guy down, hit his head, caused him to die. As far as I'm aware of, this is the first death here in the United States due to the either pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian protesting. This could certainly escalate even more. Regardless of the sides, regardless of what's going on in that region between Israel and Hamas. And there's certainly good and lots of bad being done on both sides. There's lots of bad being done. I get it, who provoked it, and now what's being done. But here in the United States, I am seeing personally probably a bigger divide and more passionate emotions than possibly any of the other recent issues in recent times. You know, the BLM stuff, George Floyd, the protests, the riots, all that kind of stuff. And then it moved on from that to Ukraine and Russia, and then also the trans pride flag kind of stuff. Definitely those things were divisive. We saw protests, we saw hate on both sides. But now we've got the Israel Palestine or Israel Gaza Hamas thing, and the amount of just heated emotions, I think it could, and it's a lot. And so now that we have this first death, and I say first because I just personally don't think it's going to be the last or the only one. I could be wrong. And then here's the thing to remember. When this kind of stuff gets to this level, it's not just the violence, the potential violence and disruption of society that we have to, be aware of and wonder about, but then also government coming in and government doing some kind of laws and rules and all that kind of stuff that interfere with our daily lives. So it's obviously sad that someone has died because of this, but also remember, this is probably going to get worse. Israel stated that they will occupy Gaza when this is all over. They said that when they're done, that they will stay in Gaza for an indefinite amount of time to provide security and basically run Gaza. Probably much like that's going on in the West Bank. I would say that that's not going to set well with a lot of the other Middle Eastern countries. Attacks in Syria on U.S. bases in Syria and Iraq have continued. It looks like that, at least based on the reporting, that things have not just escalated in the sense of more of them, but the types of weapons used. I'm seeing, larger weapons, more advanced weapons that are being used, less of just the kind of homemade IED or, little drone with the small warhead type of thing. So it does look like things are escalating over there. Also, I'm sure you've probably all heard this, it's all over the internet, but the manifesto, or at least part of the manifesto from the Nashville shooter, was leaked online. And the internet and the mainstream media are losing their minds. They're trying to censor this. YouTube has censored it. Facebook has censored it. I have no idea how they're going to handle me even talking about it. I mean, it does appear that it's legitimate based on what the police in Nashville and others have stated. So it seems to be legitimate. Why is it that we can't report on it? I mean, obviously we know why, because we have no freedom of speech and no freedom of press or anything like that. We only have freedom to regurgitate their talking points that they push, their narrative. That's the only thing that's free anymore. But Steven Crowder, who's someone I'm not particularly fond of, but don't have much of an opinion either way, did a YouTube video. I guess he was the one that actually released this. Did a YouTube video on it, and YouTube has removed it. Facebook is removing it. They don't want you talking about it. And I think probably one of the reasons why they don't want you talking about it is in the manifesto, at least what was released, basically she's just ranting on, Christian and white people, how bad they are and how they need to be eliminated. And so that doesn't fit well with their narrative, but also it just proves the narrative that they like to censor news and censor anything that might look bad. I guarantee you if it was flipped around and if it was some white person saying how bad black people or gay people or something were, then it wouldn't be censored, but it doesn't fit within the narrative. So that's the 1984 world we live in today. Russia and Turkey have been releasing military propaganda videos. And I know that, especially in times of war, everyone does this, right? But these look pretty good. The one that Russia released, basically they have it's a scenario where they've destroyed some NATO, United States and NATO vehicles, and they're smoldering and burning. And the Russians or something like this, they're saying, come join us and burn it all, indicating that they're just gonna run right all over NATO. Turkey has been releasing some pretty high quality. I mean, they look good. You got to admit they look good, because they're making some serious threats about engaging with Israel over Gaza. And I mean, they're a NATO country, but then there's also this whole biblical thing of Turkey is pretty important. I think that Erdogan, or whatever his name is trying to reestablish the Ottoman Empire personally, but he is making some very loud saber rattling. And think of it this way: Turkey has a pretty decent force. They have quite a bit of weapons. A lot of their weapons are Western United States weapons. That they have a pretty decent Navy and Air Force and military, and they show it off in these videos, and they're making some serious threats that Israel needs to get out of Gaza and leave them alone, or they will be involved. If that happens, now I'm not making predictions, I'm not trying to be all prophetic or anything, but if you haven't read your Bibles lately, especially end-time prophecies, you probably should, and then compare that in regards to Turkey and Iran getting involved in a war against Israel. Probably should do some studying on that, just in case. And then last on my little list here that I have, China has announced that they will mass produce humanoid robots within the next couple of years that will, let me quote, reshape the world. I mean, if these are going to be like the Wish.com robot kind of quality, I'm not too worried about it. But we all know that China actually is capable of much better advanced technology than what they sell us. So, what is this, a Terminator kind of a thing? I mean, who knows? there's a lot of advanced technology being pushed, a lot of AI. It's being pushed into the just about every area. I was listening to a podcast just the other day of the amount of job loss in just the last couple of years and the projected job loss over the next 5 to 10 years, which is not very far away, folks, based on robotics and artificial intelligence, or the combination of artificial intelligent robots. It's changing everything. And that may be one of the reasons why they're pushing this big global takeover and new great reset and all that kind of stuff, because they know as the technology advances, it's going to change our world so much that there has to be some fundamental changes. And to a certain point, I agree with that, but we're watching fundamental changes in ways that's unnecessary, that's moving further and further away from a biblical kind of concept. I mean, regardless of whether you agree with this or not, most of the world, especially the West, but really most of the world's kind of foundation is built on kind of this biblical concept, certain morals that, these are black and white. We don't do this, these are okay, we don't do this. There's absolute, good and bad, absolute morality, laws, things like that. And now they're trying to move us into this phase that, well, that's not true. There's no absolutes. There's no God. There's no right and wrong. There's no good and evil. There's no morality. It's just all what you make it. It's your own personal concept, right? If you want to, if you believe that your moral thing to do is to do naughty things with little children, well, then apparently that's okay. I mean, I know that's grotesque and sick to even speak and say that, but that is exactly what these folks are trying to push. Mutilation of little children and calling it, great and prideful and all of these things. They have to destroy the current system. They can't overlay this new, radically different, completely antithetical to the past system, overlay on top of it. They have to destroy the old system, folks. And that's what we're seeing happen. Yes, I get it. The financial markets, bad, global war, bad, food supplies, bad, just the big brother taking over our lives, bad. All this morality and religion and all of these things are really bad. But the bigger thing is that it's all being done on purpose to destroy current said system so that they can put in the new system. Of course, this has all been prophetically prophesied in the Bible. We know it's all being done for a purpose. The evil globalists, well, they think that it's being done so that they can rise above it all and be victorious. And of course, we all know that that's not the case. The case is that God the Father is allowing all this to be done because of the sin of this world, because he has a plan in the near future to rectify all of this and bring about a true peace. Anyways, I am rambling like crazy on this little rabbit trail. Some of you are okay with that, many not, but that's okay. It's not your channel. Anyways, folks, we are watching our society just fall apart. It's more and more. There's so much violence, so much chaos, mental illness, confusion, just everywhere. It's happening everywhere. There's like no normalcy, no peace, no just, wow, it's 1985 and everything is fine. That doesn't exist anymore. The absolute insanity out there that's going on, the violence, even on a government and corporate level, the level of lying and corruption and deceit is got to be at an all-time high. And I don't believe, and I'm no expert, but I don't believe that any civilization can exist for very long with this level of chaos and confusion and deception and lying and mental illness and just absolute craziness. It's not capable of, okay? We know that. And we're watching the downfall, the demise. So you need to be stocking up, you need to be prepping up, you need to be praying up, training up, building tribe, because it's all going to hit us like a big old tsunami at some point. It's been little by little. Those waves are crashing in on the shore, but they're becoming more repetitive and they're becoming bigger waves. And at some point, it's going to come really crashing in, and that big old tidal wave is going to hit us. And it's going to be devastating. And if you're not ready for it, it could take you out to sea with it. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.